there. Go live now. Cool. I think we're on. Roxanne, we're all good. You're ready to jump off. Frank, we're live. We're on. This time I'm happy because there's no technical issues, which I'm very happy about. Very, very happy about. Welcome, my friend. I'm excited for this one as well because this one is, we're not just talking about one property. We're talking about 3 properties, which seems pretty cool. I think it's going to be a bit different for the viewers. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, very well. Been a busy week, which has been good. Pretty excited for this one because this is, like I said, 3 properties. A client has done 3 properties in less than a year, and
18 months.
18 months, sorry. So pretty cool to see that, and they still want to continue. There's a whole bunch of equity there, but it's just to show the strategy of how this works for them and many other clients as well. So I think we'll do more of the 2, 3, 4, 5 clients that have done that many purchases in one after the other.
Yep, absolutely. I think by popular demand as well. This is when you guys are wanting something, you flick us a message, we will do that something. This is from popular demand. People have said, hey, can we get a few more properties? If one property is great, the breakdown's great, but also showing this. So I'm excited. It's going to be exciting for a lot of the viewers because a lot of the viewers look at 3 properties and go, shit, that's huge. Audrey and SK, as you will soon see, they want to build an awesome empire. So I'm excited. We'll let a few more trickle in. I know we're a little bit early. We've got a good bunch of people. Thank you guys for posting. We are live.
What time is it? Oh, it's not even 6 o'clock. Losing track of time.
We're too early. What's your favorite of the lot before we get into it?
I don't know. I think maybe the last one. I think the first one's done extremely well. It's probably the first one's done the best out of all of them. But I think the last one's got a lot of opportunity. But as well, the second one was pretty cool purchase. We purchased at a really perfect time. Like that was in the sweet spot of the market. They both were. Or the first one and the second one were in the sweet spot of the market, where I say there was barely any buyers agents. There was barely any investors. We've seen a really gap. We seen a gap in the market. And we said like this is the time to jump in right now, and we got in at the right time, right price. And especially the first one done pretty well, but they've all done well. I don't know. I look at certain things and I go, that's so cool. Like what we've done with this property, or when we got this property, or what this property was doing back then and what it's doing now. It's like, well, it's done so much. So I think it'll be pretty cool to dive in, show the locations. More importantly, people go, let's look at these locations, because I guess a lot of buyers agents don't do that. But I guess I think we're going to share one location that I don't think we've ever shared before as well. So
really?
Be pretty cool. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. You know more about it than what I do. The numbers are in. Give us a shout out. I think we can kick it off, Frank. I think I'm ready to rock and roll. You ready to go?
Oh, perfect. You going to share the slide? Or you want me to share?
No, I got it. Let's rock and roll. You can see that, Frank?
Yep, sure can.
Guys on Facebook, can you see that? Just want to make sure. If you want to comment, if you can see it. Once you have commented, I see the first comment. Omar Saad, if you want to comment and just tell us if you can see it, that'd be great. And then I'll kick it off. I don't know, Frank, you can see that, yeah? Perfect.
Omar Saad, is he related to Adam Saad, that footballer?
I think he is. I think he's made it. He's been following us. I think we're good to start. Thank you guys for saying it, for saying you can see it. All right. You know the drill. This time, Audrey and SK, they specifically asked for us to not show their faces. Completely fine. We don't show the faces. We will show the results, which is the stuff that you guys want to see. Let's get into it. This is the first one that we purchased. for $325,000. As Frank said, this was at the end of this 2022. I'm gonna do it for every single property. Frank, where was this property purchased?
Armadale in WA. So
Okay.
perfect timing of when we got this property. I think over 600 squares, three
I
better.
Don't mention the price. Don't mention the price.
What its value now?
Yeah, don't mention it. But keep going. So tell me about the asset.
Yeah. So it's three better, one bath, one car spot or garage, got a carport and drives right through into the backyard. Just a nice, set forget property, really close to the school. I think the school's down the road, literally walking distance. One of the schools there, close to all the amenities. Where we picked this one up, what I liked about it is there's 0% public housing in Armadale. Some people talk about Armadale and go, oh, it's a real rough area, which it is. But there are good pockets, and we're in the pocket where there's zero public housing. And there's average around that, in that area there, there's about 30% or more of renters in that whole area. We ended up getting it down to about 27% of renters in that area of where the property is located, which is fantastic. And about 28% of the houses don't have a mortgage in that pocket there, which is great as well. And the affluent scores are a little bit better compared to some other pockets. So when I mean affluent scores, we're measuring, we're measuring incomes, we're measuring how many people go to school, we're measuring what type of profession people are in, and measuring as well, renters versus owner occupiers, and measuring how if these houses are paid off or not, because that's very important. Make sure the debt's being paid off in a lot of areas. It means more stability. So anyway, all that jargon, it just means that it was in a good area of Armadale and it's done extremely well. The house is, just a nice set and forget, nothing special. But I guess you can go to the next slide and show them what it's kind of done.
Well, before that, one more question about Armadale. How far is Armadale from WA CBD?
About 20, I shouldn't know this, about 20 Ks roughly.
It's about 40 minutes drive, give or take, right?
Yeah, something like that, a little bit less. Not like it's not like Melbourne, or Sydney. You drive to Armadale to, you drive from Melbourne to bloody, 10 Ks out of Melbourne and taking 40 minutes to get to destination. It's not like that, but yeah.
Yep. Cool. So with all of that knowledge, and I'm passing it on to you guys as the viewers, right? There's a few of us on here. We purchased this property for $325,000 18 months ago. What do you guys think this property is worth today? I'll say this, the person who gets the closest, whoever comments, I'm going to give you a little surprise. And when I say surprise, I'm going to give you something that we pay a lot of money for, and we also sell to clientele, to our clientele for not a lot of money, but a decent amount of money. I'm going to give it to you for free. Can I use my super? 500, Jet, thank you. Can you use your super? If you want to explain what that means. 500, cool. What else we got? 515, Ante. Omar, 420. Beautiful. 650. Nick. Hello, my friend. We've got a few of our clients on here, which is pretty cool. All right. I'll give you a few more seconds and then I'm going to...
And I think this valuation as well is from a bank val.
Yep. So a bit more conservative.
It is always more conservative. So for people who know, you know what the market's doing. The bank's never going to value at what the market price is. But it's pretty cool if they were to sell this property and what they would get for it on the market. But
yep. Well, we've got a fair few clients on here now. Jake, 480, Sanjit, 550, Nick, who's a Melbourne boy but a WA boy as well. He's got a bit of insider knowledge. So let's see. All right, cool. 725. Okay, I'll tell you what it is. 500, 506,
506. Which I think be honest, I think it's more than that if we were to sell it on the market, but it just shows 55% in 16 months of what this property's done.
Jet, you are the winner. So congrats. Remember, there's another 2 more properties. I'll just say that. But regardless, that's 55% growth in 16 months, which is absolutely mind-boggling, right? So that's awesome. Guys, to the team, can I get you guys to reach out to Jet and send through one of our latest hotspot regions to Jet? Congrats, Jet. To the others, Thank you for participating. Beauty is there's 2 more. Oh no, Omar Saad said for. Oh no, Omar Saad's just stirring. He's put that in after. Well done, Jet. All right, let's keep moving. That was property 1 though. What was property 2, Frank? Sell it to me.
So, property 2, as you can see here, we purchased this one for a ripper price of $275, and this one here I like because I think we got into this market at the perfect time. I reckon after we got into this market, like maybe 3 to 4 months after that, it just went like this, the prices. It's in this area, exact area. I know we've purchased some clients' properties around $550. I probably shouldn't have said that. Fuck that up for everyone, but I just wanted to. Sorry for my language. I just wanted to, just show like how much this market's done well. But this is a 3x. I think it's a 3x 1 by 1, 800 and nearly 900 square meters of land. Big block, huge block. Properties to buy, set, forget. I think it's only 1990 build. It's not that old, as you can see. Yep. But I think I've ruined it for everyone. But I guess we can always. I'm not going to say it's going to be at 550 because a lot of the modern properties are going at 550. But everyone can have a guess of what it's going to be at.
Cool.
But
which region was this in? Sorry.
So this one here, this is in a region that I don't think I've ever spoken about. It's in Geraldton, WA. Okay. We purchased this one in a good area once again. Okay. This area here had low public housing, 36% of renters in the pocket, which is great. Low level of renters, 22% of the houses don't have a mortgage, which is very good as well. And very close to the water. Okay. It's only probably, I reckon, a 3-minute drive to the beach. So, just down the road, maybe a K, or just over a K, maybe to the water. So, like very, very close to the water.
Cool. Awesome. Handing it over to you guys. You can't let Jet win this one again. We've already got some numbers. 550, 375, Cameron. Jet 400. D-Band 475. The next one, what are we going to hand out next? I know what we're going to hand out next. We're going to hand out something that changed a lot of lives. It's a tracker. I'll just say that. Anyone else? 275. The property was purchased 4 months after the first one. So what was it? 13 months ago. So essentially a year ago. What's the property worth today? Ante 380. Omar Moneybags. Ante, there you go. 380. 375. Oh no, sorry, Ante. Cameron, you've won another banger. 375. So it's that's 36% growth in 12. Like I want you to understand. So Frank, you mentioned that you haven't actually mentioned this region. I think I've mentioned it in a lot of my videos. I've purchased 2 properties right in this region last year. So this is what we like to say, one of the best performing regions and will be over the next couple of years. 36% growth in 12 months is mind-boggling. To compare, Australian average growth rate over the last 5 years is 5.8%. You can do the numbers. How many times does 5.8% go into 36? A lot of bloody times. I'm not good with numbers. But the winner, who's going to be Cameron J, what we are going to give to yourself is what we call a budget calculator. So, Ante, I apologize. You get that already. You get that. You're a client of ours. So, you're going to already have that. So, you don't miss out on this one. All right. But that's huge. 36%. So, of the last 2, Frank, 55% in 16 months and 36% in 12 months. And if we want to talk about numbers, there's 100 grand worth of growth there on a 275K asset. And there's 165 grand worth of growth. So within 16 months, they've made $250,000 to $300,000 in capital growth.
So as you can see, it's the market's done extremely well, and both of these regions, bank vals, once again, not market vals or market appraisals. The market would definitely do quite well if they had to sell it right now. And that could be a strategy down the track to get out and get into new markets that are about to take off, like again. So that's something that we do look at because you can always sell those assets and move into another region and sell and have all your capital gains that you've made. Of course, there's costs involved, but of course, you're going to come out for a lot more money than what you did when you put the money onto the property.
Yep. Yep. And a big thing, yeah, you're exactly right. Like, you start to look at this over a 5-year period, you start to talk about some pretty serious numbers. I mean, these are serious numbers as well, not counting down what these guys have achieved, but this is 16 months. This is a year and a half. Over a 5-year period, let's say these guys buy another 2-3 more properties. Best believe that these properties, some of these earlier ones, right, that they will literally be worth more than double, right? They sell a few of those assets, they pay down some other assets. You start to move very, very closely to your goals very quickly.
And the thing I think we haven't spoken about is this: the rental return on all of them. They're doing all amazing from a rental perspective, and so really, Audrey and SK aren't out of pocket. If anything, some of their properties are cash flow positive. Some of these ones here they've got. So I haven't got the details right in front of me. I will actually, as you're going through the slides, I will pull it up to explain, like the rental yields on them. They're pretty strong. I think the first one was 6.4%, the one in Armadale when we got that one.
Yep.
And the one we got here, the second one, that's an 8% rental yield from day one.
Jeez. There you go, Jet. There you go. I don't know if you saw that comment from Jet, but he just commented, what's the current yield on property twos? 8 point what, Frank?
8%.
Jesus.
8%. So, for $275, it's renting out for $420 a week in rent. So This property is actually cash flow positive for Audrey and SK.
Wow. Okay.
Which is great.
Let's get into it. Property number 3. What's property number 3?
Property number 3. Go to the next slide.
Sorry. Go for it.
So this one's in Queensland. Okay, we bought this property in Queensland, started diversing. We paid, as you can see, $335. We got this once again for a steal. It's a 3x1x2, 600 plus square meters of land. It's a property where we bought in Gladstone. Gladstone is a big regional town in Queensland. It's a market that's got billions and billions of dollars infrastructure spend. It's got a very strong internal migration pattern. Same as Geraldton, actually. Geraldton's a very, very strong market with growth, property growth, population growth. And this property here, when we picked this one up, 0% public housing. Once again, in a very high sought after location, 24% of renters in the area, where the average is 31%. So you got 31% is the average, but in that pocket, it's 24%, meaning there's more owner occupiers. Have a think about it, guys. What do owner occupiers do? 1, look after their properties. 2, they're emotional buyers when they buy properties. They're the ones that push up property prices, not investors. Yep. And so, that's a very important thing we looked at. Plus, 32% of the houses don't have a mortgage in that area, where the average is 27%. And that's very important. I'm always big on these type of things because looking long term, you're always going to, outweigh, the other areas where they've got lower owned outright levels. If something was to happen, there's a crisis, more interest rates keep going up. The ones that have the areas that have more of a mortgage on them, where the houses they're not paid off, they're the ones that are going to be, affected, and they have to put their houses on the market for sale or whatever it may be.
Yep.
So we got this at the right time. I think this is quite new. I can't remember when we settled on this property. We're going to have it here popping up with the growth, but I've got a property in this market. It's doing quite well. I think it's going to be one of the best performing regions in the next 12 to few years moving forward. But yeah.
I think this was, I might be incorrect. I think it was May that we settled. I'm pretty sure it was May. But this is the final one. So having your little tips, what do you think this property is worth today? So we settled on this property in May, June, July, August. 3 months ago, we settled on this property. What do you think this property has grown by in the first 3 months of holding it? If anyone wants to fire away.
While everyone's doing that, I will touch on this property, what we've done with this property. So we got this at a really good price. We did have to put some work into it. So I believe there was some paint and carpets and things like that to do to the property to get up to a rental standard, which was great because it did increase the rental yield.
Cool.
I will say the rental yield, okay, and people are going to say they're going to see this and they're going to go. They might come to us and say, "Hey, can you give me a property like this?" I'm going to tell you probably not, because I literally got a property in this area. My rental yield's in the 5s. This is at a 7.45% rental yield. So you pay $335. It's renting out for $480 a week in rent.
Gee. Because of the manufactured growth and the manufactured work that they've done to.
Correct. So I think there was a bit of money that they put in. I think it was around 15, 20K to put into the property. But of course, you put your money into the property, you get the return out, okay, and that's why you do the forced depreciation, because you can do these crafty things.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Thank you. So with that in mind, 7+% rental yield. They've owned the property for 3 months. Obviously, the purchase took place in March, April, right? So let's call it 4 months since they've secured the asset from purchase price. What do you think the price of the property is at today? Karan, 425, Jet, 435, Jen, 360, Cameron, 375, D-Bun, 380. How come there's not that many commenting? You know why there's not that many commenting? Because I haven't talked about the present, Frank. People want the present. I'll talk about the present then. What's the present going to be, Frank? I think the present is going to be your own 10-year plan tracker, which you have the ability to muck around with. I'm going to give that away. I use it. I give it out. I love it. I use it for myself. It's a 10-year plan tracker. All right. Have I sold that well? Maybe I haven't sold that well.
It's a 10-year plan portfolio tracker. So what it actually means, guys, it goes up to 15 properties you can plug in, and you can plan out your property portfolio up to 15 properties, put whatever type of properties in with price, rental yield, expenses, etc., and you can see what it looks like in 10 years, where you're going to be from a cash flow position, from a debt position, from an equity position, and a portfolio position as well. So that shows you, and it shows you when you can release equity, and you can put your growth rates in, and play around with it. It's pretty powerful. We do charge for having sessions, just one-on-one sessions, just the plan itself. So we are willing to give this free. It's a big tool. A big tool that, to be quite honest, there's a reason why people aren't successful in property investing. It's because they just don't have a plan. So this is the reason why people are successful, like Audrey and SK. We've plugged it in with numbers and said, okay, this is what we're going to do for you, and this is what they've achieved so far.
There you go. I think you sold it a bit better than me. All right, Jake, 365. What's the property worth after 3 months? 2 months? There you go. $375,000, which Cam's come for a 20-minute education session. He's left with an absolute bag of goodies. 375 again, Cam. The guys will reach out to you. We'll get that sent to you, mate.
What's Cam, an agent or something? Is he a spy or something there?
No, I don't know.
With Intel.
He's working inside. You've pocketed about $2,000 worth of stuff, mate, so congrats. You haven't pocketed as much as Audrey and SK, though. So Audrey and SK, they've made... So I just want you to fathom this, okay? Because like you look at it and you go, okay, well, it's 40 grand. Cool. It's the percentage and it's the money that they've put into this. They have done almost 12% in 2 months. It should be 3 months. 12%. The Australian average growth rate is 5.8% in the last 5 years. Every single one of their properties has just absolutely blown that out of the water. Blown out of the water. Now, what does that actually do? Well, Frank's going to touch on that, but essentially it just gets them to where they want to get to 2, 3, 4, 5 years earlier, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Definitely. And look, once again, these are bank values. We can go to the market and get it appraised by the agents. They can come back to us. I know for a fact if we had to sell this property, it'd be in the 4s, low 4s, but it'd grow more than what it's done in here. So I always say to people, bank values are always conservative, but that's what the banks use. They're never going to be bullish and do what the market's dictating, but it's good signs to see for them, and it gives them the opportunity to now load up and go for property number 4.
Yeah, love it. And for everyone who has put a little mention in here, you guys are not going to walk away with nothing. we're going to send you a nice little hotspot. So Jen, I know you've said we had about second prize. You're going to get everything, okay? Oh, not everything, sorry. You're going to get something. So we'll send out a little something to you. So for everyone that has commented, thank you. And you'll get a little something as well. So thank you for participating. All right, Frank, we've still got a bit more to go. We've got about 5 minutes. It's almost 6:30. I don't know if we're going to run through all of this, Frank, but here's just how we presented the properties. You guys have seen this now if you've been on these a few times, but this is how we kind of present the properties, right? Very, very detailed. I don't know, Frank, if you want to run through these folders or not.
Look, I don't think we need to. I think, look, people have seen this. Some of the people go to the hotspotting reports. If you go next, this is a report we give to clients. This talks about the economy, what's going on, talks about the population increase. It talks about, the projects, the size of the projects, the status of the projects, and then the impact, which is the most important thing. As you say, this is I think that's Armadale we've got there. So Armadale, that's the first property we got. And then the city of Geraldton, I think that's the one next, and talks about that, what's going on there. So, of course, the economy is the most important thing to make a property market grow. It's the movement of people. It's a whole bunch of things. But, I guess that's the level of research is what gets the results. It's not the property itself. If you can see, the properties aren't beautiful properties that for some people, that's their dream home. Okay.
Yep.
But they're properties that are performing extremely well in great areas that, are giving the great result to our clients. Some of my properties look like this. I don't care what my property looks like. I care about the region. You can get of course, a property can make you or break if you get an asset that's pretty distressed, needs a lot of work, and you don't put the work in, and it costs you a lot of maintenance. But as well, if you buy right, of course, you can, it's like land banking. You buy the right land in the right area and you hold on to it, it's going to go up. And same thing here. Of course, you buy the right property in the right area, the right asset in the right area because of the research, you get the result. Same thing with stocks. You can buy that many stocks out there. How many stocks have done well and how many haven't done not well? I guarantee there's more stocks that haven't done well than stocks that have done well.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Goes back to what we consider investment grade properties, and now everyone has different beliefs of this, but we only consider 2% of properties across the entire country as actually investment grade worthy. Which, how do we consider investment grade worthy? Beating the Australian average growth rate in regards to growth and also in regards to cash flow, but also being able to raise your rents every single year, being able to have an asset that doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. Absolutely. Agree. So those are the reasons. I mean, I think you've ran through most of the reasoning. It is 6:25, so I'm just conscious of time. Usually these are 20-minute bangers, but have you got anything else you want to touch on in regards to any of the regions, any of the properties, absolutely anything, or even, as it says here, what is next for Audrey and Esco?
So what is next? Because they do have some of these properties on P&I. I don't think all of them are on P&I. Some of them actually are, producing positive cash flow, which is fantastic for them. And some are negative gear, but by very, very little amount. So they're doing quite well. And it just shows when the interest rates do come back down that they're going to be probably making some good coin. We're in the middle of trying to refinance, get some equity going and go again for P4. And when the time is right. So I don't think it's on their radar as of yet, but towards the end of the year, they're wanting to go again and load up and, take action. So pretty cool. They've got a whole bunch of equity. They can do amazing things. Of course, we've got to be very crafty now because they're coming into, the territory of going in from 3 to 4, 4 to 5, etc. That, start to become a very sophisticated investor. So we're looking at doing other different structures where investing in a trust and trying to hide the debt from other lenders and do all these little crafty things because that's how people build big portfolios, which I think maybe one day we'll talk about that. I think it might be a good session to talk about, the type of entities that you purchase property in and why you purchase under a trust or a company besides your personal name and what the benefits are. I think that could be a good topic to talk about one day. If people in the chat want to hear that, I think, and they say yes, that'll be pretty cool. I like that sort of stuff. Maybe Adrian doesn't, but it's pretty exciting just to show you how you can keep going and not get stuck.
Just need to put our terms and whatever you call it. We're not qualified accountants, so we're not actually allowed to talk about it. Frank, question, only because it's been popping up a lot internally, it's been popping up a lot inside of Fresh Start, but it's also been popping up quite a bit outside of Fresh Start in regards to a lot of our clients coming to us about this. The strategy of now going and potentially selling some of these assets to pay down debt and to get into assets that are at the start of their growth phase. I know that this hasn't necessarily been planned out for Audrey and SK because they like the strategy of holding on to these assets because they're producing them an income and whatnot. But your thoughts on that, or if you were questioned on that, what your response would be?
So it's not bad. There's no right or wrong with any strategy. It's what gets you to your goal, ASAP, or to your goal, whatever you're trying to achieve. Okay. So it's pretty simple. Everyone's different. So let's say we use them as an example, Audrey and SK. If we were to continue, and let's say we buy another 2 properties in the next 1 to 1.5 years, that takes them up to 5 properties. Then we can start looking at, okay, some of these markets will start to have a bit of a slowdown from the first purchase and the second. Of course, they're going to start slowing down because no market's ever continuing going up for more than 5 to 6, 7 years, roughly. Okay. Yeah. So we could look to, sell that property, get that equity out of that property that we've sold, and then look to reinvest that property into another asset. Okay. And do some crafty things. We can go down and put a 10% or 20% deposit, but you got leftover cash, put in your offset account, or put it onto the loan, okay, and start to have a higher deposit where you have a higher, lower LVR, which means that you got less debt on the property, start producing positive cash flow, and you start to rinse and repeat and do the same thing. Cool. And the reason why you do that, you just get left over for a whole bunch of more cash than what you started with, okay, and you do that with property number 1. Then you do that probably number 2, and you start to still have the same portfolio, but you're selling, keeping your more cash on you, putting it into the next property or into the offset accounts, and rinse and repeat. And if you keep doing that, you come to a point where you're going to have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, left in your account eventually as time goes on, and that's another way to get to your goal as well. There is costs involved. There is you have to pay capital gains tax. You have to be crafty. You can't do this all. You have to be strategic when you do sell these properties as well, because if you don't have them in the right entity, if they're in your personal name and you're earning, good income, and you're going to get hit with $100,000 or $200,000 or $300,000 of capital gains, you're going to pay tax on that on your personal income as well. So 45 cents or 47 cents on the dollar is going to the ATO. So you got to be, that's dangerous. You don't want that to happen because half your money's going to the ATO. So now you got to be very crafty and maybe putting it in different entities. So the strategy has to be right from day one. Okay. Otherwise, you can pay a lot in tax to the ATO, which isn't a bad thing. You're making money. It means you're making money. But as well, you want to try and avoid that.
Yep. And avoiding that allows you to, could be the difference between a property putting 20 grand in your pocket or 30 grand in your pocket, right? Like that difference and that money that is then given to the ATO for whether we call it a good reason or a bad reason, that's not for us to comment on. That is going to be the difference. So if you do that strategically, but I think even going back strategically to the research and getting yourself to the point whereby you achieve this, you get this stuff wrong, you don't worry about capital gains tax, don't worry about any of that stuff. You just got to start worrying about shit. Am I going to sell the property at a profit at all? You get the buying wrong, you get the research wrong, all of these things go out the door because all these numbers look really, really good. These things are not very easy to achieve, right? We dedicated our life to achieving these numbers. So I think it's awesome. I think it's great. Frank, do you want to leave anything else to the viewers apart from this saying your turn, which I like that?
No, I think it's what you said there is very valuable for people to take that on, because if you haven't experienced it before, experienced buying a property that's gone backwards in value, it's costing you money to hold, hasn't grown in value, it's stopping you from going and getting another property and building your property portfolio. If you haven't experienced that, you don't know what it's like. Mm-hmm. I was very naive when I first got in, and that's what happened to me. I've got, out of the 2 dud properties I bought, I was able to sell one, and the other one I wasn't able. I still got it today, but I paid $500,000. It's worth probably $400,000, and it won't cover the mortgage. Okay, if I was a seller, I'd probably have a $50,000 loss, and I have to pay $50,000 into the mortgage, and that's not including all the other fees for the sales agent and stuff. And so for people that don't understand this and they're new, they can be a bit ignorant to getting into it and saying, "Oh, no, it's all good. We're going to do it ourselves." This is not a plug to say, "Come to us." Go to a professional, because you've been burnt. I've been burnt. Okay. It stops you. Like if I had this from day one and just bought the right properties from day one, back when I purchased my first property, my second, my third, and kept going, I wouldn't have had all these problems. I would have had probably 10 properties. No joke. Maybe more. A lot more than that. Because when I was buying it back in 2019, I bought one in Brizzy for 300 grand. I bought that one for 500 grand in Victoria. That's gone backwards. Worth 400 grand. And just imagine. You getting an echoing? You getting an echoing?
Yeah, I'm getting an echoing. Anyway,
that's gone away now.
Let's go.
So just imagine if I just kept buying the similar property that I bought, the one in Brizzy for 300 grand, but in different areas around Australia, what I could have done. Because back then I was looking into Adelaide afterwards. I couldn't do anything. I was stuck. I could have bought a house in Adelaide for 300 grand. And in the area I was looking was in Salisbury. If you know where Salisbury is, some of those properties worth $650 these days. So like there was so much opportunity I could have done, but I bought 2 duds that went backwards in value, able to sell one of them. I still got the other one, but it held me down for so many years, like 3-4 years, okay, until I could do something. So I was stuck on 3 properties for so long. And so people don't understand that. They haven't gone through that. It hasn't burnt them. And so then they try and do it and they don't know what they're doing and things happen. So always make sure you get the right advice. So you go to a mechanic, get your car fixed. Why? Because you don't know how to do it. You go to a buyer's agent to buy property and build wealth because you don't know how to do it. Same thing with everything. We go to a dentist because they know how to fix our teeth. Same thing in everything in life.
Agree. And again, it's not a plug. I think it's something actually a little bit different about you and I. We've both put our hand on top of that oven, and that fire burnt our hands. I mean, there's a few of our clients in here, right? There's a few young ones, aren't there? And Nick and Sylvia. Like there's a few of our clients on here. I'm very, very grateful that you guys, for your first ever purchase, have decided to go with a company like ours, right? Because it changes everything. It changes everything for you. First property I bought was an apartment for 240 grand or something like that. I sold it 9 years later or 8 years later for 230 grand. Or I get the numbers stuffed up. I think I bought it for 260, sold it for 240 8 years later. Now you can say, oh, well, it's only 20 grand. That is $500,000, or that is $400,000, or that is 200. Your property should double in a 5-year period. Right? If you treat it like a professional, you go off the averages. 5.8% is the average, and you do what the average wants to do. But if you guys are on this page, you're probably not average, right? You're wanting to learn more. You're wanting to do a bit different to what the average are doing. You don't want to just get the average. You want to double your purchasing, but you want to double the value of your property in a 5-year period. It's very, very possible if you do the right research and you get in the right market. Anyway, we're waffling. It's 6:35. I don't watch the Olympics, but if anyone watched the Olympics, go watch the Olympics. Frank, I don't know what you're going to do. Probably eat dinner. Go eat dinner.
Go eat dinner and enjoy, everyone. And thank you for coming along. And we'll see you. I won't be for the next one in 2 weeks, but I think you got a special guest coming on.
You've just sprung that one on me. Who have we got on? I don't know.
I'm not going to be here in Australia, so you're going to have to fix someone.
I'll fix it up. I'll work something out. That's fine. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to everyone. As I said, have a look out for your inboxes. You will get a nice little special gift, and that's for people who even, I say, didn't win or didn't get closest to the number. You guys are still going to get something pretty cool. So check out your inbox. To the winners, congrats. Thank you guys for staying on board. Sorry it's a bit longer this time, but that's what happens when we're breaking down 3 properties. And Frank, enjoy your trip. Have a beautiful night.
Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.
Again, take care.
Bye.